UN Security Council 1325, the main resolution of the Women, Peace and Security agenda. So Prof has been the one that led almost the domestication of that and localization here in Borno State, and they worked on the different national action plans that were drafted at state action plans that were drafted here at the state level, and then she's going to take us through the whole overview and where we are so far.
The UNSCR 1325 was actually adopted against the background of the disproportionate impact of armed conflict on women, their role in peace building processes, and then their lack of participation and what have you. So it was adopted in the year 2000 to ensure that women's full and equal participation in all the peace processes.
Today we are doing a workshop. This is a program and a project supported by Germany, and this is basically to support women and highlight their contributions towards what we are facing, the humanitarian crisis, but then also bringing them together, forming a network, a movement whereby their voices, their contributions, their volunteerism, their work, their ideas can be seen and can be heard and also be felt at community level. So to me, this is an avenue also to re-energize the Women, Peace and Security agenda, and also make sure that a lot of our young women have the knowledge, the basic knowledge of the agenda, knows what it entails, and then coupling it with countering violent extremism, because it's something that is needed at this point, especially when we have a lot of returns of IDPs to their locations, and then we also have a lot of cross-cutting, different issues emerging. So I think this is the time we have to mobilize and work, especially young women in that field, to support all of these processes together. So today is like 3 days, and it's really a robust conversation of ideas and then also impacting knowledge all together.
The main objective of this workshop is to build capacity of women leaders in promoting and protecting women's rights.
I have been in the both developmental and humanitarian sector for over 5 years, but this is my first time of attending anything that has to do with countering violent extremism. So I came here with that expectation of having better and clear understanding of the role of women in countering violent extremism.
So this was done through a competitive process, and we kind of opened up a link for young women working in this particular area to apply. And part of the motivation is that we are making it in a form of a training of trainers, so that we can have people who are sound, who at least are leading a movement, who has organizations, who are engaged with other organizations that can provide another avenue for other young people that are out there, especially young women, to learn. So we opened it. It was very competitive. We had a criteria for our selection, and we did the selection, and that is how we come about them. But then most importantly, it's not really aimed at marginalizing any young woman, but the whole idea is that so that the knowledge chain is sustained, and then we live to see, the practical example in their communities, in their organizations, and then in the different fields they represent.
This from on social media from a friend, and I decided to say, let me go into it, since it's talking about women and security and peace building. Then I said, let me go into it and learn more of what I have. Why I'm here is that I'm attending a 3 days capacity building workshop on enhancing enhancing roles of women in countering violence, extremism, and community participation. And what I learned during this 2 days period of the conversation is that women, as integral part of the society, have a role to play in countering violent extremism. They have a role to play in society building. Women as part of the society should actively get involved in anything that has to do with the development of their own community, and they should be taking part in conversation from the community grassroots level to the top.
The training we are having now with BOWDI is a very interesting one, that we need to know more about ourselves, we women, and we learn how to advocate more to people. People will learn from us and how we talk to our leaders and know how they will listen to us, how to approach them, and then listen to us to solve our problems.
Well, for me, I think it's an inclusive system. The vision is to see an inclusive system, a system whereby appointments are done based on merits, based on experiences, based on the technical know-how, not just based on, you know, the gender motives and who is that person and who is she. So in the long run, in the next 10 years, I hope this beautiful young women behind me would, you know, come out proud with their heads high and say this is the result of our networking, our movement, that we are able to get certain percentage at different levels in government, at different levels in development, and then our voices count in all that we do. So yeah.
What do you want? Okay, what do you want? What is it that you need?
Yes, so our hope is that we are able to build a movement in a form of a network for these young people to be able to run campaigns around women inclusion, young women inclusion, around countering violent extremism, changing of the narratives, and how the whole of overall women agenda is being perceived here. But then most importantly, to keep this work very closely. It's like everybody is operating on its own lane, and then the part of why we are here is also to build this synergy, the relationship, the connections, the contacts to keep in check, so that at least when there is anything young women, we are not, you know, hard to find. We already have a database of people with the basic knowledge, and then it's very easy to ride on. So for me, the hope is that this is sustained, the energy, the momentum in the room, and then also the connections in terms of network should be something. And in future, what I'm hoping is that we're able to also maximize the impacts and get funding that would support those different young women in their individual organizations and in their individual work, to ensure that we bring in more and not shrink the space for aspiring young women as well.
Support the women. Without the women, if you do things without women, it's like a tripod pot that is sitting on a two-legged stove or a one-legged stove, because the women make up the whole society. If you take the women out, I always tell people, if you remove the women out of the society, or if you have a coin, you know, it's like a two-sided coin. You know, one side has the head, one side has the tail. So one side has the men, one side has the women. If the women's side is not there, the coin is what? Ijebu. Have you ever come across Ijebu? That is what it is. It cannot stand. It's fake. A society without women will never make any progress.
I learned, and again at the workshop, this workshop, I learned about advocacy. You know, we were taught how to go about advocating, to make a voice, to stand and speak on behalf of a cause, and to be able to win the community attention. Before now, we thought if you have a cause to pursue and you go to advocate it, you feel that it's an important point, and you just start, you just bombard the people with all the knowledge you have. But now we learn that for you to advocate, you have to really understand the environment.
I learned a lot from this. I do advocate to many people, and now I have more experience on how to approach people and change their mind, that we need to change from us, and then not always waiting for someone to change us. And I wish, and I'm still hoping, that we do more of this.
You know, women have their hands at the top of things, and women are resilient, and women are compassionate. You know, so together, I think we bring up a better society.